and the satisfaction of feeling like your life means something, because it does. Namaste, my friends, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Victor, and I help people navigate through their spiritual awakening or their ascension process. And today I'm going to discuss with you this full moon here in October of 2017, the harvest moon, and what it might mean for you in your own life. This is going to be one of my official energy updates where I discuss the different specific themes that correlate with this moon energy that I would imagine you can feel at this point. We are the ones we have been waiting for. You guys heard that before? I bet most of you have. I have heard that. And it's true. And I believe this moon is going to help you come into greater contact with how you might be of service to the whole. And in finding your path and how you fit in to this grand puzzle of the whole, once you find that where your piece fits, that also spells massive improvements in your life experience, improvements in how you feel inside, improvements in your reflection that you call your life, and the satisfaction of feeling like your life means something, because it does. This moon is going to help illuminate for you why you came. Now I'll go ahead and get into the more specific themes, but that's kind of the general overview. There might be some things you have to do in order to have this experience. One of them, you might feel a call to free your mind. Like Timothy Leary said, tune in to yourself, turn on, activate your inner being, fire yourself up, and drop out. Not of school, of the collective ego games that most people play that you might have played quite a bit yourself. Drop out, tune out. The answers are within. It's true. I know it's annoying to hear because it's like, no, come on. I know people say that, but they are. But if we're focused out there, we don't hear them. Your purpose, your mission, your next right step, it's inside of you at this very minute. But you might find an intensification of your compulsion to be out there, focused on tons and limitless amounts of externals that are just begging for your attention in a very lit up and flashy and compelling way. It's not easy the way things are set up. You really can't avoid it. I look around and there's just so much to look at. A few hundred years ago, I could sit on this very beach and there'd be nothing, no houses, just me and the stillness and maybe a few birds, hopefully with any luck a dolphin out there, which I see sometimes. And in that kind of climate, it would be a lot more easy and effortless, but you might have to exert some willpower and cut yourself off from distractions that are blocking you from what's trying to emerge within. You might have to let go of what's comfortable to receive the new that your heart is longing for. I want to find my soulmate, but I'm currently settling with this douchebag who treats me like garbage. It's comfortable. It's very uncomfortable to be alone and deal with those feelings of just no one wants me. But as long as you say to the universe, I'm willing to put up with this guy, your dream soulmate, it's going to be invisible to you. Same with the job. I had to deal with this with the job. I had security, but it's not what my heart wanted. It's not what I felt in my gut was right for me. And for a long time I tried to hang on, and it just didn't work. But the moment I even decided to start taking little steps in the direction of letting go, immediately fresh, pure, new ideas would just start flooding through me. I experienced this in a very big way when I felt it was time for me to move out of state and to get on YouTube. I would literally be kept awake at night, and I talked about it before, but it bears repeating, with this mass. I could almost feel it like a basketball-sized knot of stress and anxiety in my solar plexus area. I would literally be in fetal position thinking like, oh my goodness. In those moments when it would surface, I knew there was no getting around it. I had to do what I was terrified to do, and in that moment, it was to cut off my income source, which sounds stupid, and in a sense it is. But I knew what I had to do. The next step was to go down into my basement and kill the lights in my medical marijuana grow operation, which that's what I was doing at the time to support myself. I knew that I would not be able to move another step until I did that. And I would go down there sometimes, this pit would drive me to do so, and I would kill the lights, which essentially is like screwing it up to a point of no return. Immediate release and relief. I would go upstairs, thank you, and wake up the next morning and ideas would pop into my brain. But they were always there too. They were just right here saying, Victor, 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 do this thing that you don't want to do. We're right here waiting for you. I sensed that and I resisted. And the moment I did, boosh, they were available to me. I said, okay, now you know that was step one, kill the grow. Now you have step two. It's this. Okay, good. But it's hard, man. It was so hard. In fact, truth be told, I went through that process many times. I'd wake up at night, the pit would be there, I'd go downstairs feeling like if I don't kill these plants, something bad's gonna happen. I had that feeling like life was gonna really make me let go one way or the other. And I would kill the lights, and I'd feel better. And I'd wake up the next morning, and then all the doubtful thoughts would pop into my head, and I'd run back down, and I'd try to, save the mess I made. And I had to go through that a few times. But eventually it came down to letting go and letting in, and it worked out for me in ways I can't even express into words. It worked out beautifully. Spirit, you will always over-deliver. A lot of people are experiencing a heightened sense of empathy, generally speaking. I am as well. A lot of people I talked to were very emotionally affected, some of them even before this Las Vegas shooting. It's no longer a conceptual conclusion that, wow, that's ugly, that's heinous, that's despicable. Where's the cream, honey? I want to make some coffee and go to work. No, it's more like, just in your body, you feel it. It's powerful. It's powerfully negative. That's one polar extreme of empathy. I'll give you a much more pleasant example, which comes along with it. When you become more empathic, you get the whole spectrum, fortunately. The other night with my children, as I was tucking them in, on that particular night, which was last night actually, my mind was quiet. And I could feel the love, the pure love, just radiating from my children's bodies. As I lay with them, they just were, I could sense so strongly how safe and secure and content they felt with their father's presence, just rubbing their back. And it was no longer, yes, I love my children. Yes, again, it's not so much of the mind. It's a heart. It's like a whole other sixth sense or something where I just could feel. I could feel the love. I could almost taste it. And it was just beautiful. And people are finally opening up by not allowing themselves to be so closed off. And in doing so, it's difficult at times when we have like situations I mentioned, but it's more information it'll facilitate more empathic human relations, which is precisely what is needed. We are very advanced in a cerebral, psychological sort of way, but we have neglected our heart and spiritual growth tremendously. And now we are watching the consequences unfold before us of those choices collectively. But as we open up to greater awareness, greater empathic abilities, it'll help us finally right the wrongs and steer this big beast of a ship onto a different shore. So if you're feeling more sensitive and it's puzzling you and bothering you, know that it's part of the grand shift, and it's a fantastic thing and will lead to better decisions and more heartfelt choices in your life. Alongside of this, you might be finding a little extra fuel for your passion, for your fiery passion. Sometimes we attract into our lives situations and circumstances that help us become more aware in a more obvious way of where our true passion lies. I'll give an example. One of my clients, and now is a good friend, I've had him for a long time. When he was a teenager, he came real close to committing suicide. He had it all rigged up, he mentioned. He told me this whole story. And I think he was literally waiting to pull this string or something that would have ended him completely. And he put his iPod on and he listened to this rock and roll song, and he was just like, right before he did it, he noticed the lyrics in the song were very eerily similar to what was going on in his life. Up until that point, he felt very alone and isolated, like no one got him. But in that moment, he realized that he wasn't alone, that people out there in the world understood him. And in that moment, it saved his life. He said, no, okay, that was like exactly what he needed. And now this guy has more passion for music than almost anyone I've ever met. And just the other day, he had a situation where someone contacted him on Facebook, and he could easily sense this person was suicidal. And there were several hours of going back and forth. And he knew it so strongly that he called the police and said, you got to get to this guy's house. He's not in a good way. But it was too late. And my friend was like hurt by that. Perfect example of this empathy, man. As I get into these deep subjects, you can see, good thing I have these glasses on, man. I feel choked up talking about this. But anyway, he was bothered by that, obviously. But what is that going to lead to? I got to do something. Got to do something. This is not right. Another guy I work with, a little bit of a lighter tone. He's like a union rep, a lawyer or something, where he fights for the people's rights, essentially. And he's one of the biggest ones in the country, he says, in D.C. And he was like going through these tough negotiations, and he realized just how these big corporations were like almost impossible to fight against. They have their cards stacked in their favor to such a degree that these poor people, these basic needs that they're fighting for, are just getting squashed by the massive power of these empires. And he said that really affected him and really bothered him. But what did that do? That translated into him finally quitting his job and starting this like renegade rebel political revolution that he's very good candidate for, because he's very smart and very good with this sort of stuff, and it lit a fire under his ass so strong that now he is going after that beast. So there's sometimes challenging situations that wake you up. I see this shooting as a macrocosmic sort of event like that. We might have more, not shooting, things like that to invoke the priorities being righted in humankind. So in the end, it's a very positive thing, solidifying what I said in the beginning, that we are the ones we have been waiting for. And sometimes we need just that little thing, or a big thing, to help us break out of our conditioning and mold and go for it. Perhaps this moon is just going to, for some of you, intensify and heighten the reactions of things that you're doing, behaviors, beliefs, mindset, emotional patterns, things you're clinging to. It might intensify the consequences so you can let that go and allow all of what I've been talking about, that energy that's just trying to burst out of you, have room to explode like a volcano. We have the capabilities of holding it in and holding on to the old, but the old is destined to blast away. So if you find there's something you're doing in your life that you sense that you should discontinue, let it go. Even if it might be scary, let it go. Trust that fire within you. Uh-oh. Lastly, before I get sucked out to sea here, the waves are creeping up on me. Lastly, I see a very promising future. I see a lot of human beings like you going into winter with their notebooks and their pens, and they're plotting and they're planning and they're scheming for a better world, a better reality, a better life. We're given the tools we need, like the catalysts, to facilitate in us executing exactly what is needed in our life and in the world right now. So that is it, my friends. I gotta bounce. My time here is limited. I almost got wet a second ago. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully it psyched you up in some way. I felt pretty amped up personally listening to or doing it. Thank you guys for everything. You guys are just so friendly to me, man. It's so nice. I did a vlog the other day, and just some of the feedback I got, it was just, it was very heartwarming. So thank you, my friends. You have an amazing day. We'll see you all soon. Peace.